Hello and welcome to the African Hub for Sustainable Creative Economies Knowledge Hub Nairobi. My name is Ogake Mosomi and I'm the lead for the AHSC Nairobi Hub at University of Nairobi. I'm here today with Cris Njoki, who's a designer and the founder of Ikojn, a women's wear brand based in Nairobi. Cris will be sharing her experience as a fashion entrepreneur with us.
So we run a women's wear brand that is based in Nairobi, and we currently make women's wear. What we do is we have 4 stores in the country, and we also sell heavily online. We make everything in Kenya, which is such a key part of the brand. And the brand is currently we're employing about 43 staff, and
Wow.
99% of those are women.
Excellent.
And so that's something we're also really proud of, and that's something that's very close to my heart as well. Making sure we're providing women with the training, and because a lot of these women that we're employing don't have the basic fashion training, and so we're able to supply this training to them, which is also something really big I wanted to do even when I started the brand. We make everything 100% in Kenya, and we sell to Kenya and surrounding countries in Africa as well, and even abroad. What many people actually don't know is the Ikojn brand is 8 years old. We turned 8 this year.
Congratulations.
And so many people, thank you. And so this has been a journey that's much longer than many people have seen. I know we really sort of came into people's visibility during COVID, and that's because we've been heavily already doing a lot of online work, pushing a lot of content. And so during COVID is actually when we opened our first store. It was in 2020, end of 2020, beginning of 2021. That's when we opened our first store to Westgate. And so from that time to now is when we've been able to open the rest of the stores. So I'd say for the stores, about 3 years opening the stores. But before that, we were on other third-party websites, the Jumia and other websites that were able to sell online. We were selling heavily on Instagram. I mean, that Instagram business selling, it's not a joke, guys. That should be exploited in, and it's just, again, that what I'm trying to say from the point before is use your free resources. For 4 years, about 4 or 5 years, we sold so much on Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp before we even got our own website, even a place like Jumia, it's free to open, accounts on these third-party websites. So use all of that even before you start, investing in your own website or getting your own store. But yeah, it took us about, 3 years for the stores. I think for us, especially now, what we're experiencing is a shortage with fabric because since we're making everything in Kenya and we're trying to keep it within Kenya as much as possible, we're having a lot of limitations when it comes to fabric, especially. So sourcing of raw materials, even things like zippers, buttons, you're not able to get very high quality finishes here or a lot of fabric options in the country. And so if we can be able to maybe open up some of those textile industries again, because I know we used to have a lot of them before, but then for some reason or other, you find we're not getting a lot of raw materials that are made within the country. And so you're having to import things. And now with the dollar and the shilling price, how it is, it's getting really expensive. And so it becomes difficult to actually be fully made in Kenya because then you're still importing fabric. A lot of the fabric is imported. And so even if it's not imported, we're sourcing from suppliers in Kenya. But even when you're doing that, you're buying retail. So you're not really buying wholesale fabric. So you're just buying like anybody else who would walk into a store and buy per meter. And so the sourcing of raw materials is really, really a pain right now. There used to be, Kenya would initially, I know from before, we would produce fabrics, with the cotton. Kenya is a healthy country and we have healthy soils. I know there's capacity to create our own textiles. So if there's a way maybe that can be revived, I think that would be such a big help to local industries. The biggest advice I give to people who come up and they say, they look up and they want to try something similar or start a business in fashion, especially in ready to wear, I would say that it's an expensive business to begin with. And so I would try and tell them, use all of your free resources. before
Mm.
you go out and you want to pay all these big amounts and you want to get a shop and you want to employ all these people. It's like use all of the free resources you have.
Yeah.
And for me, I'd say even when I was starting the brand, I really didn't look at Icon being to have brick and mortar stores. For
Mm.
us, we were primarily focused on online.
Mm.
And online, I think for me, is one of the easiest ways for a brand to start a business without
Mm.
necessarily having to put in huge chunks of cash,
Yeah.
because that initial event is when investment is really, really heavy. And
Mm.
so I would advise anyone wanting to start a fashion brand, like look at ways you can sell online, have maybe a website, sell on Facebook, on Instagram. Right now, all of these free resources are so much easier to get and they're more accessible right now than they were, say, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I'd say start slow, start small, start
Mhm.
online, use all the free resources. YouTube is your best friend, so is
Mm.
Google. A lot of, even with my business that I ran, as much as I went to fashion school, I'd
Mm.
say 70% of the stuff I've learned online.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so right now, I think the online is such a huge free resource that maybe a lot of people shy away from using because they feel like they need to go to school or they need to do all
Mm.
these professional sort of things. But it's like
Mhm.
it is the biggest resource you can get. And so before you even get into investing huge chunks of cash in stores or employing people, it's learn the skill, and you can learn these skills yourself online, and
Mm.
invest in yourself. You're going to be your own finance person, your own marketer, your own probably seamstress when you begin. And these
Mm.
are all skills you can literally learn online.
Mm.
And you
Mm.
need to be that one man or one woman show in the beginning,
Yeah.
but don't rush into. I say don't delay starting because you don't have money.
Yeah.
you know
Mm.
that's going to stop you even before you begin. Start with what you have, which is yourself. Invest in yourself, and then
Mm.
once you do it for about a year, 2 years, now see how you can offload some of those skills to other people and go train people as you continue. If you've
Yeah.
learned all these skills yourself, then bring in one person. As long as you see someone has passion, they have the drive, take them up and then teach them what you've learned, and then
Mm.
make sure they have that same spirit of learning as you do, and then push them to gain more of their skills from online as well.